What's going on, man? Blue light kind of night, y'all. It's a blue light kind of night. We're under the blue lights, man. As always, man, just tell me how y'all doing, man. Like, check in with me, check in right down there in the comments, and just let me know, let's talk about it. Whatever it is, let's talk about the situation, I got a video right here, y'all. SONYA MASSEY, right? That's one of the biggest story that's going on around right now. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the video, just keep in mind that if you do decide to watch the video, it's trigger warning. It is a trigger warning. Okay? It's the unaliving of a young black woman at the hands of a police officer, and it's very brutal. It's brutal. But if you haven't seen it, what I have here is I got some white folks, y'all. Because a lot of people, they think it's like a strictly black and white thing, and they think that, we don't have no allies and things like that. Some people believe that. Others know that, some people are on our side. And some people just as tired of the situation. Some white people, they're just as tired of the situation as we are. So here it is right here. I'm going to let them talk to y'all and let them tell y'all how they feel about the situation, right? I'm going to sit back, man. I ain't going to say nothing. Blue light kind of night, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video, man.
When I say all cops are bad, it's because I work with them. It's because I work with them enough to know that the good cops are so few and far between, that the shit like SONYA Massey's case is so unsurprising to me, so deeply unsurprising to me, and yet still made me physically ill when I watched that video. SONYA called the cops herself because she thought there was an intruder at her home. They then went to her home, started questioning her, entered her home, were suspicious of her. Mind you, she had called them, asked her for her identification, and then when they noticed that she was in the middle of cooking dinner with a pot of boiling water on the stove to make pasta, they said, hey, can you go attend to that pot of boiling water? And then when she did that, six times. They fired 6 times into her head. As a nurse, when I say that racism is a public health crisis, I mean it. And when I say racism is a public health crisis and a lot of the perpetrators are other healthcare workers, I mean it. Because the amount of healthcare workers that I genuinely don't think even understand that there's an issue with our policing system in this country is so upsetting. But it's the truth. They fired at her 6 times over a pot of boiling water that they asked her to attend to. Her last words were, I'm sorry. She ducked and said, I'm sorry. I will never forget that. The whole thing is on video. And then none of the cops held the guy who killed her accountable. He stopped his partner from offering her assistance. His partner gave up. Not that it would have mattered, because 6 rounds into someone's head, beyond assistance. When I say it's all cops, I
got to disagree with her a little bit. She said none of the cops held him accountable. When that captain came and he asked the officer, he says, where's the gun? Because they assumed that she had a gun and she aimed at him. And then when the cop said, oh, it was a pot of boiling water, look at the look that's on that captain's face. It said it all. He didn't say nothing, but that look said, oh yeah, you're done.
mean it. I mean it. because we allow the most untrained, unbelievably violent and racist human beings and bigoted human beings to become law enforcement in this country.
Sean Grayson, I hope you never see the light of day again. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google is your friend. Have a blessed day.
The worst part about the body cam footage is he set up that scene for her to be unalived in her own home. Whilst asking for identification from her, he randomly asked her to go turn off the stove so there's no fire. Then she removes a pot of boiling water into the sink right next to the stove. Then when he starts freaking out, she puts the stove in the sink, and you see her crouch on the ground, holding her head for 3 to 5 seconds before he starts. Then while his partner, who is also in the wrong, is holding the wound trying to stop the bleeding, he's outside diddly-daddling. Once all other units arrive on the scene of the crime, you see a mirage of officers standing there in complete silence, in complete confusion. And they are all of them, including the supervisor, is avoiding eye contact with this individual. Either they always known that he's a hothead, or they're just finding out. And as these people stand there, confused as he's trying to roll out. He needs to roll out, as he said. That is premeditative. That is premeditative. He set the scene. He set the scene and he died and he thought he would get away with it. And I pray to Jesus. I pray to Jesus that he gets the repercussions that every other officer should have. Because if you're on the job and you do something wrong, you have to pay the consequences.
Now, if you've been on social media this morning.
Now, look, sorry for interrupting y'all, but what she said, like, about the cops and they're all quiet, they are. You got to go to the video. I mean, like, again, if you want, you got to go to the video. And they're looking at him like, yeah, man, you just messed up. They're looking at him in that manner. Okay, because they don't know what to say, because they all thought it was an active, like a shooting. When they all found out it was a pot of boiling water, yeah, they was looking at him like, man, you finished.
Or if you've seen your news, you have heard the name SONYA Massey. You have watched her execution. You have seen the injustice. And you watched it all by policeman body cams. Now, what happened to her was wrong. She called 911 thinking there was a prowler. She was calling for help. And they executed her. Now, we've seen it all. But something's just not settling right with me. Something I don't understand. As a mother who has lost her child in police custody, I can tell you for a fact, that body cam footage that we're all seeing, that ain't that easy to get. I had to get lawyers. I had to fight. I had to get notarized papers. Well, we had to go through hell and back to get that footage. And this was released nearly instantly. See, they told us that we can't have that right now. It's pending investigation. But how was all this policeman body cam footage released so quickly to social media? See, it's not like somebody was standing there and videoing it with the cell phone. There was no bystanders. This was in her own home, in her own kitchen. See, sometimes when they have somebody standing by and recording and they put that on social media, well, the police are a little bit quicker to release that footage. But that's not what happened in this case. See, I fought, and it took me years to get that footage, right along with thousands and thousands of other families that had to fight. What was done to her was wrong. Her and her family deserve justice. That officer needs to be sitting in a prison. But I just want somebody to make sense to me how all that body cam footage was released so quickly when so many of us have to sit here and fight to get that same exact footage. It's not posted, it's not shared, it's not released from the police stations. Why was this one? Why and how? How was that made possible?
Damn, she got a point. She got a point. Because it is a process. Like when something is caught on camera, like a crime or something like that is caught on camera, it does take time for the footage to be released to the public. And that was released almost instantly. So she got a good point. I didn't even think about that.
If somebody can make sense out of that, I'd appreciate it.
The man who did this deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. She called them for help. They had no business being in her home, and she posed no threat at any point during the video. This was another completely unjustified murder that we would have had to take the word of an officer for if the body camera footage wasn't on, which it almost wasn't. I really wanted to stay on track in this video, but it's the same conversation over and over. Why are body cameras not on the entire shift? This I don't understand. Is it like we don't have money for the storage of the data? Is it that we don't have money for backup batteries? Like, this is the only job that you can take human life and keep your job. This is the only job on the planet that has that level of power, yet we let them walk around freely. If you worked in a Ross, those cameras are on all day. It doesn't matter if the store goes empty. Like, we have money for, but we don't have money to solve this very specific problem. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I watched all 36 minutes of the body camera footage, and I have like notes prepared, but like, what is there to say when this is the first option? How do we cure that? Why are these body cameras not on? The first guy had his on the entire time until someone said turn that off, which I think, again, why? The officer that took the shot turned his body camera on 21 seconds after pulling the trigger. And I know this because I looked up the body camera model, which is called an Axon 3. You might wonder sometimes when you see footage why it's silent for the first 30 seconds. This camera has a pre-buffer mode, which means when they hit the button, which is how it turns on, it backtracks 30 seconds with no audio to catch anything it might have needed to catch. They were so far into her home and conversation with her before he chose to press that button. He told the other people who showed up that I didn't have a choice, and quote unquote, that is crazy. He asked, as he was getting the med kit moments after he told the other officer not to, dispatch, does she have a record of being 1096, which is police code for is she crazy? This is again after he took the shot, so now we're looking to justify it before we have to retell this story. After he took the shot, the other officer said, let me grab my med kit, and he said, no need, it's in the head. 2 minutes later, he said, I'm gonna go get my kit. At the 3-minute mark, he said, I'm not even gonna waste my med kit. At the 4-minute mark, the other one who was holding her head said, she's still gasping. The lack of urgency between the time when he takes the shot, walks, not runs, to the car to get his med kit. He takes the time to check with dispatch to see if she has a history. Who knows if you could have saved her life? This is not to mention the fact that 1, you did not have to do it. 2, you have low lethal options. I checked with your police force. That's not the only tool they give you. He also worked for 6 departments in a 4-year span and has had no public incidents on record. But doesn't that seem a little odd? He does have 2 DWIs, which I find suspicious. They were dropped down to a misdemeanor, but do we learn nothing every time this happens? Do we not learn that maybe we respond with mental health training? Do we not learn that maybe our first item we reach for isn't that in the tool belt.
Yeah, man. There you have it right there, y'all. We got white allies, y'all. They tired too. You understand? The guy right there, he broke down the video step by step. Like I said, man, you might not want to see the video, but if you want to, like, if you want to know if he telling the truth, which he is, he's telling the truth, then the video is everywhere. They tired too. It ain't just us frustrated. You're tired too. Because when it's something like unjust like that happening, you have no choice but to speak out. No matter what color you is, man. If you have a heart, you know what I'm saying? If you have a heart and you tired of all this stuff going on like this and all this stuff just continuously happening, then you will speak out too. It's her right here, though. You know what I'm saying? Who everybody's talking about. And, you know, she didn't deserve what happened that night. She didn't deserve that at all. But the coldest part about all that is how the police officer reacted after the fact. Like, man, that man was so cold. That man was 50 below. He was 50 below. That man was very cold. Like, it was just another walking apart. You know? It's crazy, man. But yeah, man, like I said, the white folks, man, they tired of it too. They tired of it too. It don't get no better, man. It don't get no better. It just get worse. Everything always just get worse, man. Nothing don't get no better. That's why I tell y'all all the time, man. Stay safe out there. Check up on your peoples too, man. Make sure they doing good, not just physically, but mentally. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally and things like that. Check up on them, man. Make sure they all right. You know? She had a son. I don't know if she had any other kids, but I know her son spoke out. And you know, I know he probably would have called her and told her he loved her if he knew that he was never going to see her or talk to her again. It's crazy, man. That's it for me, yo, but stay safe, man. Like I always say, stay safe. Be vigilant, man. Move militant out here. Rest in peace, SONYA Massey, man. That's just crazy, though. Again, we right back where we started again. Never fails, y'all. But at least you know, from this video right here, you're not in it by yourself. All my black folks. You're not in it by yourself. White folks tired too. And shout out to all of them, man. Shout out to all of them who, you know, who tired of it too. Shout out to y'all, man. For this blue light, man, please like, comment, subscribe. Comment for sure. Jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. You know, other than that, though, I'm out. Thanks for watching.